Hi, Dakota. How are you?
Hi, Douglas.
How you doing? Nice to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be on your show. I'm just really, really, really grateful. I want to make sure that I convey my true gratitude.
Oh, well, you're most welcome. It's my pleasure to have you on, and I'm excited to watch your video and to talk to you, get a little backstory on you.
Yeah,
So,
I'm excited to share with you guys.
so you and I are sort of similar. We're both musicians. You do your own writing as well, and you sing. And the only thing
hmm
you do that I can't do is dance. I cannot dance to save my life. So I'm envious that you can dance. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. And I know that everybody has, their different gifts, and I don't know. I would imagine that the dancing might be kind of subjective. Like you probably think you can't. I think I can. Maybe I can't. Maybe you can. You never know.
I don't know. I've always admired dancers, and I always love watching dancers, going all the way back to like Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly, to the new ones. Like I love Jabberwockies. I think they're just
Yes,
awesome. Um,
absolutely.
so I mean, I like all the whole styles of dancing, but for me to try to do it, nah, I don't think so. I just sit in my chair and watch. Uh,
Gotcha.
so tell us your backstory. Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I mean, I think probably the most interesting thing is where I come from and where I currently live, which is North Dakota, because this isn't exactly, the musical or fashion center of the universe here, not by any stretch. But I believe that in different parts of the country, even, very small town USA, there can be pockets of really self-expressive people that want to share what their perspective and shine their light, and I'm one of them. I really enjoy like the environment that I live in and the place that I live in, and thanks to modern technology, I've been able to have this music career even though I live in a really small town in a really rural area.
Well, that's the beauty of it is that you can be anywhere as long as you've got the internet, you're connected. You know, you don't
Yes.
have to physically be there anymore. I think
Yes.
those days are kind of over. So, which did you do first? Did you start writing music? Did you start singing, dancing? What was the first thing you did?
Well, I do like the story of my first band that I was ever in. Are you familiar with the song, "Well, I tried to make it Sunday, but I
Oh
got
yeah,
so
yeah,
damn depressed"?
sure, I
You know
remember that.
that?
Yeah,
That America song? So I
yeah.
was walking downtown in Minot, North Dakota when I was 14 years old, and I was with a friend. And I started singing that song. And she said to me, "Wow, you have a really great voice. We should start a band. I want to start an all-girl band." And I was like, "Well, let's do it then." And we were young and we didn't know. Nobody knew how to play any instruments. But we convinced our parents to buy us guitars, and we started an all-girl punk band.
Wow.
We didn't do any American covers. It was like punk rock music. But Minot, North Dakota at that time had an incredible punk rock music scene. We had people coming in from all over the country into our tiny little town to play punk rock music. And so there were multiple venues across our city. There was a show like probably 3 to 4 nights a week that you could go to, like a live music punk show. And so it was, the environment at that time was really ripe to foster bands. I mean, there were kids that were in 3, 4 bands at a time, when I was between the ages of like 14 and 20. And so that's how the whole thing started. In our first show, Douglas, we couldn't even get through one complete song. That's how much of like a train wreck it was. Um, but I think it's so good at the same time to just remember that and to tell that story and to acknowledge that, because there are all kinds of things I think that end up on people's hearts, but they don't do it because they don't think that they can. They don't know where to start, and they think that they're too far behind a starting point to actually do it. And that lesson just taught me that wherever you are is the right place to start. Like it doesn't matter. It's the right place.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm like the classic example of that. I started out at 18 in New York City playing in clubs, wanting to be the next Elton John or Billy Joel. And I stopped at 20 years old and didn't come back to it till I was 40. So, you know, and then by that time, the music industry had completely flipped. I mean, because when I was doing it, there was no internet, there was no streaming, there was no digital. It was the old-fashioned way. And when I came back to it at 40, I was like, what the hell happened to the music industry? You know, it's completely changed, and I had to learn it all over. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got the determination and if you can conquer your fears, I mean, that's half the battle, more than half the battle.
It really is. There's that cliche they always throw around that fake it till you make it. And my belief is be it until they see it. You don't have to wait for someone else's like validation or acknowledgement to live something truthfully and genuinely. And that's how I've approached my career. And especially, being here in North Dakota, where it's like somewhat isolated, from a lot of opportunity to play live or to even network with other people. But I come from the Magic City. That's the city I live in, and they call it the Magic City. And there are pockets of us here that are, committed to our craft and are wildly self-expressive, really unapologetically self-expressive. And I think that's what's fostered my growth so much. Sometimes I think scarcity can be one of the best fertilizers that you can have.
Yeah, I think so too. Does the area where you live, does it inspire you to write? I mean, the nature is beautiful there. I've been through North Dakota.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, 100%. When I'm listening to songs, to potentially write to and go forward with and record, I'm listening to the first 2-3 bars, and it has to have an atmospheric sound. I have to be able to close my eyes and have that instant vision. Everything that I do, you'll consistently get that atmospheric space. And I think that comes from my really strong sense of place. Being from North Dakota, when you drive here, if there's a car in front of you or behind you, you drive until that car isn't in front of you or behind you. It's not like in the city where, it's bumper to bumper, or somebody might be driving on a 2-lane highway to your left. In North Dakota, if someone's next to you on the road, like, you need to get away from them because they're not right of mind. Like, you have your full forward vision, you have your full rear vision. You can drive for an hour and not see another car. And so I think it's that, very spacey, like atmospheric tone that resonates in everything that I do.
Are you a live performer? I mean, I know COVID has kind of screwed everything up. But previous to that, you were performing, yeah?
Yeah, when I started, like I told you the story, I mean, this was 20 years ago, so there wasn't the internet, there wasn't live streaming, there was not social media, so there was no way to really get out there. So the only way to really do it was to perform live. And back in those days, there were a few of us that had the what were they called, like 5-track or 3-track, where you put like the cassette in it.
Oh yeah.
What were those called?
Multi-track.
Yeah,
multi-track recorders.
I still have one somewhere in my garage. But that's how like all the punk bands locally would do their recording. So there wasn't like a recording studio. I mean, you would just like turn the 4-track on in your bedroom,
right,
and get down, And so, but as far as live performing, the opportunities are pretty few and far between. And I guess for me, I'm okay with that for the moment. And I'm definitely finding a lot of other ways to like contribute at this time. However, Douglas, let me put this out in the universe with you right now. Okay. My dream place to play is Red Rocks Amphitheater in Colorado. That's where I play. Yeah.
Yeah, that place is very beautiful, very historic.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to look at your video,
Okay.
Your track is called Right There. Do you want to tell us a little about it? Set it up, and then we'll watch it.
Sure. It's got kind of a fun story. We filmed it very last minute. We only had about 5 days to pull the entire thing together. The videographer lives in New York. I live in North Dakota. The video was shot in Valley of the Fire, right outside of Las Vegas. You probably recognize it.
Oh, yeah.
And we literally decided with a 5-day window that we were going to do this. And so it was flying him in, flying me in, lining up the hair and makeup, renting a Mercedes Sprinter van. I'd never been to Valley of the Fire. So, we had to find our way out there in the crazy road. And I mean, we were driving that Sprinter van like we stole it because we were, behind on production. And so it's got a great story, like lining up the wardrobe. I'm a fashion engineer by trade. I'm a fashion designer, so that's what I do. So, last minute throwing outfits like that together was super intense for me because I set the bar pretty high. And honestly, I had about 7 wardrobe changes, and I think there's only 2 outfits in the video. So little, just a little touch there. But we were really blessed with great weather that day. I absolutely love and believe in this song. I believe very strongly in its message. And it's so interesting because the video came out right as COVID was shutting everything down. And lyrically, it really is very significant and relevant right now, because the idea is that in isolation, that the people that love and care about us are always right there with us. And, in a dark moment, in a quiet moment where you do feel alone, like an island, which, by the way, I am an island. I mean, this is island living here. And I think that's the truth for a lot of songwriters, though. It's a lonely existence. But anyway, just the idea that the people that really do love you and support you and believe in you, whether that's someone else or whether it's like your inner self, they're always right there. Like, they're always right there, and you could always tap into it and feel them.
I agree with you. All right, let's have a look at this. This is Dakota Chappy, and Right There.
Time passed by, and in your eyes, your head hung low, because I know what it's like to cry inside. The comfort is you're right there, you're right there, you're right there.
Wow, that was great. I love that. That was
Thank you.
nice. The photography is beautiful in that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's EMP Productions out of New York. Eric is an incredibly talented young man and one of the hardest working people I've ever known.
And I love your voice. Your voice
Thank
is
you.
really nice, very soothing. Just kind of,
Thank
I
you.
went into a trance a little bit watching that.
Very good. That's the intent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one outfit that I liked, the red one, reminded me of Stevie Nicks.
Oh, well, that's
You a
a
Stevie Nicks
compliment I will
fan?
take to
Yeah.
heart. Yeah, most definitely. That is actually a poncho that I'm wearing as a skirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that the intention is where that's sitting around my waist. That's where your head is supposed to go on that piece. But I liked it much more. I liked it much more as a skirt. So
Well, it worked. It definitely worked.
I did.
So, what are you working on now? What's your latest project?
Oh, well, I'm pretty excited about like a lot of things. I'm really excited again just to be doing this interview with you. I'm so blessed that you gave me this chance. But I'm working on studio recordings. I'm actually going into the studio this evening to record and mini documentary series about each song. I believe that I am the birth mother of each of these tracks, and it's my job to give them life and opportunity. So I'm trying to take it, truly song by song and theme by theme. I've got several music videos that I'm going to be filming as well, hopefully coming to Las Vegas really soon again to do that. And then I'm working with a DJ out of Russia named DJ Lavrushkin, who's amazing, who's doing some electronic dance music remixes of these tracks for more of like club settings and EDM festivals. He's incredibly talented. So a lot of the remixes are going to be released soon as well.
Super.
Yeah.
Well, Dakota, we got to wrap this up. Unfortunately, our time just kind of blew right by. Thanks so much for coming on. Give out a website. You have got a website? People come check you out?
Yeah, I would just encourage people to hop on Instagram. It's Dakota Chappy Music. And then I've got my Linktree link right there in the bio, and then you can find absolutely everything. And I always like to remind people, too, that if you're an Amazon member, you can download the songs for free off Amazon. And if you're not any of those things, because there's so many different subscription services, and I feel like there's just a lot of nickel and diming that goes on. And as an artist on my level, I'm not making money off of my streams anyway. So I'm at this point, so I'm okay with people picking up my music for free. Head over to YouTube, what you're watching Douglas Coleman show on more than likely right now. And you can listen to all the tracks and watch the video at your leisure.
Super.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure talking to you. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much, Douglas.